Yo, 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 what up, everybody?
How,
Felipe,
how
Karen, you
are
guys
you?
rocking and rolling or what?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hi,
What up, what up?
Oh,
doing good.
Happy Friday. Let's get this thing rocking. Let's get let's get right to it because I don't have too much time today. Um, so what we'll do is we'll go Felipe then Karen, Felipe then Karen, Felipe then Karen with any like things that you guys need help with. Let's see how I get this.
got it. Well, I was thinking, just let's get it up.
There it is.
All right, cool. I was thinking we should get that phone call out of the way because that guy's
Okay,
been
yeah.
up my ass.
Let me just call him on my phone.
Yeah, do that.
Private chat the number.
Yes, sir.
Hey Karen, I don't know if it's your audio.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like too close to something.
Hmm.
Do you hear that, Felipe, or is that just me?
Yeah, the little white noise.
Yeah, pause really quick, Karen. I want to see if it's yours. Yeah, it's definitely yours. Um, maybe try turning something down or something.
How about that?
I think it got worse.
It's still there. It's not that like it is what it is. It isn't bad. I was just wondering.
Yeah. I mean, maybe just unmute when you talk, and that'll be easier.
Okay.
Yeah, you could do that.
Okay.
Now that's actually kind of better now.
Yeah, whatever.
I think it's the settings. I might have been using the wrong microphone. Okay.
Yeah, now it just went up.
Got it.
What's this guy's name, bro?
Max.
Can you shoot me the address too?
Here. Harvey Martinez, how we doing, my friend? Shit. Let me get it all for you.
Let's see what we got rocking. You said Max is his name, right?
Max.
Got it.
Your call cannot be completed at dial.
Make sure that it's the right number because it says it's not.
Oh, I put. Fuck. It's a 774.
Oh, got it.
Is it ringing?
Mm-hmm.
Just in case.
Please leave your message for 774-242-5866.
Hey, Max. My name is Mike. I'm calling about the property in Worcester on Pleasant Street. Felipe was telling me to give you a call. If you can give me a call back, that'd be great. Talk soon.
Yeah, I think we better if we just send him a text first. But he's aware. I told him that you'd probably contact him. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. We just need terms. Like they haven't given us no terms. Here's the thing: when dealing with realtors and creative finance deals, it's like pulling teeth, right? Because they got to go back to the seller, and it's just
Yeah,
like
it's a big game of telephone, right?
So what I was just gonna tell him. Here's what I was just gonna tell him. Hey Max, I have honestly very rarely got a deal done structured like this when I'm not even able to talk to the seller because it's just like multiple stories going back and forth and like things just get lost in the weeds. So can we just hop on the phone with the seller and see how we can all make this work out and maybe all three of us have a conversation or something like that to get everybody on board because we need terms. We need terms from them. See what I'm saying? And the realtor's like, well, submit the offer, submit the dog. You're the bank. I need the terms. Give me the terms. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or else we're not going to get a deal done. Then, like my immediate question actually to him was going to be, like, why are you not telling your client just to go with a retail buyer? Like, what is the difference between going with us and a retail buyer? Why wouldn't you just sell it to a retail buyer? See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what I'm curious about. Like, why is he so adamant about our offer?
It's because we provide flexibility, and all the other buyers are, if they buy the house, they want to move into the house.
Okay, so he can't rent back from us if that's what he thinks.
He already knows that.
So what the heck? It's the same thing.
I told him. Oh, I think I forgot to tell you. No, I called you yesterday about it. So he called me on my personal. I told him like the reason of why we don't want to rent back, and then I said, what's the difference if we just push the closing back, and then once they're ready to buy a house, we close on the house. What's the difference? Like we'll show you the proof of funds letter. Like they'll have a solid offer. Like they have the offer letter.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever they find a house, they already have proof of funds and everything that they can afford their next home. And he's like, yeah, that's a good idea. We should just do that instead. And I was like, yeah, that's what I've been trying to tell you for the past month.
Right.
But yeah, he's on board with our offer, the one with extending the closing until they find a place. But I guess as we got to figure out our terms before we actually get something in writing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like we got to know exactly what we're paying them monthly and what we got to pay them, if any, upfront. Well, yeah, we're paying them 60% up front, so they're not getting any more than that. But we got to see exactly what we're getting for terms.
Yep.
From both our lender, and that's easy because we know 60% down of what's the purchase price?
$599.
$599. I thought it was in the eights.
Let me double check. Probably confusing.
Or whatever. 60%. We need to know what our payment to our lender, the non-recourse lender, is going to be every month on the 60%, and then we need to know what the rest of the payments are going to look like on his end.
Yep. Yeah, it's $875. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we combine those payments, and we see after this thing rents out if we're going to be able to cash flow.
Yep.
And that's why it's so important to get terms from the seller. But
I agree.
It's a very, very hard thing to do with the realtor, like just
being the middleman.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like we don't mind paying a realtor in the deal. He could still get paid. But at the end of the day, is like to get our message across and what we need to accomplish, he's gonna do nothing but hurt the deal.
Yep.
But yeah, he should give me a call back. I'll let you know once he does.
Mm-hmm.
It's on the market right now.
Yep.
Okay. How have the offers been with him?
He's been getting some, but these sellers are like, we don't want to move out of the house right now. We'd rather just get a buyer and just wait until we're ready to find a house.
Okay. All right, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Cam, what do you got?
I think I just have as of now, I only have those leads that we went over yesterday, and I know there were ones that I had to call today, but unfortunately they weren't answering. Maybe and I only have one number left that's not flagged, so they're not answering
Okay.
that number.
So you booked an appointment with June, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, earlier today.
All right, let me call June because she said she doesn't have a specific time for Tuesday. She just said just call her on Tuesday.
Should be around for an appointment. Should be on the house on Tuesday. So anytime you would want to come by on her house, she can do that.
Okay, cool. So what we'll do, right? We'll schedule an appointment for a specific time.
Okay. Yeah, because I actually don't know your schedule for Tuesday, so I didn't set a
Yeah, what I'll
specific
do
time.
is Felipe has access to my schedule. I'll give you access to my schedule so that you can see it. That way you can just book the appointment if you have to. Felipe,
Okay.
what I was telling Karen yesterday is from here on out, what we'll do is any property in Brockton that could be like closed in the next 30, 60 days, just send me on an appointment. Just
Okay.
because it's boom right down the street. Like let's just try to do all the deals in this
Yeah.
neck of the woods as possible. So let me
Okay.
try calling her and
Your call. Your call has been forwarded to an automatic.
all right, and give her a call on actually, you know what? Yeah, just give her a call on Monday to set the appointment. Like for a specific time. Do it at 11:30 if you can.
Okay, I'll do that.
All right, cool. Felipe, what you got, bro?
Yeah, man. So crazy confusing deal here. We got a house, like an 8-unit property that is full of liens and full of, stuff that needs to be paid off of. This guy, the owner, is the seller financed it to someone else, and this guy can't fix up the house, and has already been like a few years in the process and has like no progress has been done basically. There is a hard money lender on the deal as well, like holding some liens on there. The owner kind of just wants that guy to get out of the house, get out of the deal, kind of like hoping we could pay off the hard money lender so he can walk away. And the owner is also willing to do more seller financing if we are able to do it. He's willing to do 0% down, 0 interest on this property. But I'm assuming just from our conversation, it's going to be like a crazy full gut or like a big project.
Is this thing down in Fall River or
I
New
think it's down
Bedford?
in New Bedford. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I talked to this guy a while ago. I think it's the same guy probably. Maybe his name's Steve.
It's Ken.
Ken. Ken, yeah. Yep. That's the same guy. I remember. To be honest, bro, I remember when I was talking with him, there wasn't much that I could do. I tried shooting it out to some people to see if we could find a buyer for it, but there was nothing. Now, as far as like the seller finance goes, let's think about it. So he seller financed this property to somebody else.
Yep.
At 0% down.
I don't know the details of that, but he's willing to do it for us.
Is he foreclosing on the owner?
No. So far the current owner is still trying to fix it up and everything, but the hard money lender's like up his ass trying to get his money back because it's been a few years. So I'm assuming the hard money lender is going to foreclose on the house.
Okay, so Ken owned a house. He got a hard money loan on this property. And then he took it upon himself to finance part of the equity to somebody else. He's essentially he subtued a hard money loan.
No. From what I understand is Ken owns a house that's in like disrepair. Some construction realtor guy came up and said, "Hey, I'll fix up your house and make money off of it."
Mm-hmm.
And Ken said, "Yeah, I'll even seller finance it to you, so you don't have to come out of pocket too much. So you can just start working on it now." So that was their deal. The contractor can't do it.
Let's back up just a little bit, just so that we get like the terms and stuff in order. If there's a hard money loan on the property, and maybe there could be some sort of equity that's seller financed, but it can't be 100% seller financed. See what I'm saying? Because there's a hard money loan on a property. It's like having a mortgage on a property. If you're buying a house with a mortgage on it, you have to buy it subject to that mortgage.
Okay.
Make sense?
Okay.
So whoever bought this property also inherited that mortgage as well, or that hard money loan. And it's supposed to unless there was something else in the agreement, but I'm assuming they were supposed to pay that hard money loan too. Now, what could happen is there could be a hard money loan in place, right? And let's just say the hard money is at like $100,000, and he wanted to seller finance like $50,000 worth of equity. He sold it to somebody for $150,000. Somebody put 50 grand into it, and then the property's worth 400 or something. I'm just making up numbers. Then yes, that would be essentially seller finance. That would be what we call a hybrid deal.
Okay.
They're taking it down subject to the existing debt, which is a hard money loan, and they're creating some of their own equity that they are financing to the buyer. Does that make sense?
A little bit, yeah.
Do you understand what seller finance is?
Yes.
Tell me.
It's when a homeowner finances their house to someone else and he becomes the bank. So the new buyer has to pay them off over time to eventually own the house.
So yes, but it's the equity that he's
paying off. Yes, he's paying off the equity of the property.
So if Felipe owns a house and Mike is buying Felipe's house 100% seller financed, Felipe is financing his equity to me.
Yeah, that I'm aware of.
He has a certain amount of equity that he's financing to me, and I'm going to make payments to him. So he is now a bank. When there's debt involved, when Felipe has a mortgage, it's not 100% seller finance.
Yeah.
It could be part seller finance, part sub to, because there is both in place. There's a loan in place, and there's also equity being financed in place.
Okay.
It happens. So we're on the same page. I don't know if this is a seller finance deal or what, but it sounds like somebody took this thing subject to his hard money loan.
I don't know. from my conversation, it sounded like the new owner got a hard money loan.
Yeah, I think
Maybe I'm assuming
what's this guy's name again?
Max.
Max. Hey, this must be Max.
Yes. Hey, what's up, Mike? How you doing?
Amazing, brother. How you doing?
Great. Doing very well. Thanks.
Hey, so go
Go
ahead.
ahead. Sorry.
Felipe was telling me about this property on Pleasant Street. I just wanted to be caught up to speed on like what you guys were, where you guys were at so far.
Okay. So I think you and I talked about it a couple times. I've talked with him a few times as well. So the owners are really looking to transition. They're older. I think the gentleman is probably like 80, and his wife passed away about a year ago.
Oh
So
yeah.
he's looking to transition to a property that's more manageable, and so they're looking at like a single family home possibly that doesn't require a whole lot of maintenance. So they're looking for a buyer that's going to have some flexibility, which from speaking with Felipe, you seem to have. And so what they're looking to do is basically kind of close simultaneously or close on this one, but somehow leveraging it so that they can get into another property. So the issue is they want to be able to close on this so they have the cash where they can buy the other property, probably 100% cash or something close to it. So that's kind of, I guess, the challenge. And so we have some investors that are looking at the property now, but they're interested in building like townhouses in the back and stuff like that, which is going to require going to the city and site plans and all of that. So it's going to be contingent. It's going to take a while, and so from my understanding, you have the ability to close quickly as well. So it's just a matter of seeing, based off what he was telling me, it's just like, hey, put something in writing and then let me present it to them, and then we can basically go from there.
Okay, and the ask price is $875, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So as far as like what Felipe was saying, what deal type that we were structuring, because we structured deals a bunch of different ways. And for this particular property, what we were thinking was putting 60% down and then having the seller be our bank for the rest of the equity.
Yeah, so I mean, they're not going to go for that because that's such a low percentage to put down. So I mean, if you're willing to put 70 down, that's something that they could consider. But 60, they're immediately going to tell me no, because we had talked about it previously at 70, and they were like, like hell no, like so it's not their go-to, and so they're going to be like, let's just wait and see if we can. Because they're concerned about going through the city with the site plan and all of that, because that could easily take 90 days, and so that's the concern with that one. And then you have first time home buyers that are also looking to buy it, but the thing with them is it's a couple, but they need to occupy the property within 60 days, so that becomes kind of tricky as well. So what I like about what you're offering is the flexibility that allows them to transition from where they are to where they need to be, and it seems to be the easiest and the simplest thing. But just realistically speaking, they're just not going to go for the 60%.
Got it. So they are willing to finance somebody 30% in exchange to essentially have some flexibility with their timing and allow them to be able to go put in a bunch of offers and not have to worry about finding a buyer for this.
Right, exactly. And they're ready to get going, so it's not like, and I'm looking for them, and I actually found something that's really nice, works well for them, but it's a matter of we have to kind of coordinate it. So it's like, hey, I can't submit an offer on this and you don't have an approval letter or proof of funds or anything like that, because it's tied into them being able to get the funds out of this property before they could actually get into the other property. So that just makes it kind of tricky. But Felipe was saying that it would be possible with your offer to provide like a proof of funds or something that allows them to be able to actually kind of go out and start really taking a look, finding properties that work and submitting an offer so that they can actually get into something. That's why it seems like the setup could work based off of what they're trying to do, like the constraints that we're working with. I mean, they're kind of open, to the 90 days, but they're just concerned about it. And, representing them, I just don't think that would be the best bet because for some reason, I don't know what kind of plans the investor is gonna try to push through the city, and if that doesn't work, then it comes back on the market. Now we're in the market in the winter months, so that becomes kind of tough.
Yeah, I was just gonna say if I was you and I was the realtor, I would tell them to run away from that.
Yeah. So, but they like that idea because that thing has been from the very beginning. We have closer to an acre here. You can do a lot with it. We're right next to, the Polo Park, minor league, close to downtown, the hospitals, universities. It's a great location. So that thing has always been, if we can get this to an investor can definitely capitalize on it. So, when they heard, okay, yeah, there's someone who's interested in being able to build and develop, like, yeah, that's perfect. And then I had to explain, well, this is what it means. And it's going to be contingent. They're like, oh, hold on. We don't know about the contingency. Like, just give us our money. We go do our thing. You go do yours. And so I'm like, that's not how it works. In this type of situation, any kind of investor who's coming in to really develop, they're going to want to make the offer contingent. So we have to wait. And so that's where you come in. I think what you have is very flexible. It's not really ideal. Like, hey, this is what we're looking for.
Yeah.
But I think that it offers them the flexibility that allows them to make the transition that they want to make. And I think that that's a great selling point.
Yeah, 100%. So just to give you an idea of how and why we do this type of deal, we bring in a non-recourse lender who lends based off of the asset, right? And they're gonna give us 70% of the loan to value of the property. So that's where we get our 70% to the seller from. Then what do we do with the rest of the 30%? We actually bring in one of our private lenders for that, just for the time being, to satisfy the loan to close on the property. And then we wire that money back to our private money lenders. And then the rest of the 30% is financed by the seller. Now, why we do this is because we're going to rent the property out in cash flow. Because now we're going to have two payments. We're going to have a payment to the non-recourse lender, and we're going to have a payment every month to the seller, right? So in order for us to figure out if this is something that we can even do, we have to, one, figure out what our payment to the lender is going to be every single month. But also, two, what is the payment going to be to the seller every single month for the rest of the 30%? Because if we don't know that, then we don't know if we even have the ability to cash flow. So essentially, the seller is our bank in this situation, right? So it's like if we're going to Chase Bank or one of these banks and getting a loan, we walk through the door and we get our terms, right? Like they give us the terms. So we just got to figure out exactly for the 30% what the seller is going to give us for terms. And then we can go back and give a solid offer and give all the proof of funds and all that type of stuff. But before we even go down that road, that's like step 6 in this case, and we're on step number 2. We need to see if this is even a deal for us. But in order to see if it's a deal, we just got to get our terms from all parties. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. But this is not something that they deal with frequently. So I had that discussion with them some weeks ago regarding possible terms, and they were just really unsure about that, and said if they would consider any term, then it would have to be short term. And so we kind of kicked around anywhere from like 3 to 5 years. But that's something I was trying to discuss with Felipe. I guess he wasn't too sure about it either. So what type of terms are you generally seeing with these types of deals that allow it to actually happen?
So for us, we don't really care as long as we have the ability to cash flow. We're good. But typically, we do it on a 30-year term, right? And then in a case like your sellers, maybe they're getting older and they're like, I don't want to do no 30-year term thing, right? We end up putting a balloon typically at year 10 where they get the windfall of cash. So let's just say at year 10, we still owe the sellers, I don't know, 150 grand or something. We will owe them 150 grand after year 10. And then once year 10 comes up, they get their money. And we do one of two things. We either refinance out or we sell the property at year 10.
Yeah. I think that would be too long of a term for them because really it's owned by one gentleman. And then you have his son, who's also older, but the dad is a lot older. And so his concern is going to be that, he's not sure if he's going to be around in 10 years. So that's going to be his concern. And, part of the reason why he's making this transition also is to kind of, I guess he wants to make sure his son is in the best possible position. So this whole thing is kind of predicated on the idea that he's going to be passing away at some point because his wife passed away last year. And so he's going to say, that's like too long of a term that, he wants to be able to kind of complete a deal that allows them to kind of buy another property outright. And then his son only has to worry about taxes and insurance and stuff like that. So as soon as we start talking about 10 years, I think he's going to be, he's going to probably be a little turned off.
Well, what do you think is going to get him excited?
I was thinking between 3 to 5, is 5 being the max, because he could potentially see himself living 3 to 5 additional years. And I don't really know. He could probably live a whole lot longer than that. But I just know that every time I meet with them, everything comes down to, I'm not going to be around much longer. I'm not going to be around much longer. So I would think, 3 to 5 is something he could say, hey, I could be around for 3 to 5 and I can make sure everything is good. Because he's like a lot of fathers where he's like, even though his son is a grown man, he still feels like he needs to do everything that he can to make sure that his son is okay when he passes away. And so that time becomes of great importance. But 3 to 5, I don't think is a significantly long time, and I think that he could potentially go for something like that. Even if you want to go for 5 and then kind of see, because I think if you did something at 3 and then he's like, no, I need a year, then obviously it's not going to work. But if that is even a possibility, but I'm just kind of putting out there what I'm getting from him and my understanding of the position and how that impacts the terms that they're likely to be okay with.
I could see us potentially doing 5. We've actually done a couple at 5, but that's the absolute lowest probably that we would go at 5. And when we have done it at 5 before, the seller agreed to be in a silent position. So at year 5, they get all their money, but we're just not giving them payments every single month.
That wouldn't work either.
So what does he want, right?
Yeah. Well, preferably they want to be able to dispose on the deal, be done with the house, and move on, and not even have to worry about monthly payments or being owed a balance or because they don't consider themselves to be a lender. But again, with everything, there are certain constraints that you're working with, and so it's like, hey, you have these sets of buyers who are interested, but each one comes with its own caveat of some sort. So again, this is not ideally what he's looking for, but if it makes sense because it supports the transition, then it's something that he's going to be likely to go for. But with something like that, because he already expressed his hesitancy in being a lender or having to collect monthly payments. And now if we say, hey, not only are you a lender, but you're not receiving any disbursements for 5 years, he's going to be like, oh hell no, I'm not going for that.
Well, what if we came up on purchase price in order to do that?
I still don't think that he would go for it. Just 5 years without any sort of payment whatsoever. I just don't really see him going for that. Again, and I meet with them, weekly, and in between, I'm talking to them on the phone or via text. So,
well, why don't we just do this? Why don't you have a conversation with him and see exactly what he would want for a monthly payment? Like I said, the monthly payment is going to have to still allow us to cash flow, so it can't it can't kill our deal, but we potentially can give him a monthly payment still if we're allowed to cash flow with the payment that we're giving our lender as well. Our lender is killing us right now with interest because the interest rates are crazy, but so we're going to have a decent payment to them. But if you want to talk to them and see what payment every single month would get them excited, I can talk to the team and see if we can do a 5-year balloon. But I'll tell you typically what these deals are structured on, what the payments are structured on are 30-year terms. But with it being a 5-year balloon, we might even ask like a 40-year term, meaning like the payments every single month are structured on a 40-year term, but we pay them out at year 5. So once the year 5 comes up, boom, they get all their money.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I think that sounds good. And I hear what you're saying as far as having the discussion with them, but, I have on a number of occasions, and, it's just like, oh, well, we don't really know. Let's get something official to take a look at. So that's what I'm saying. Right now, if you can draw something up like that, and again, I mean, I've already spoken with them, so we're kind of having a discussion based on that information, right? So if you can structure something with a 5-year balloon with a 40-year term, I think the fact that they're getting 70% upfront, and then we'll be receiving something on a monthly basis with the balloon in 5 years. I mean, that's something that could very well be doable for them. And so I think if you're able to put something like that together, then, I can present that to them, and then we can have the discussion. We can compare that to the other options that we're looking at. And I think that, what you have to offer is going to be more favorable. I mean, they might need to sleep on it or whatever, but I think it's going to be more favorable. And, it's definitely something that they can go for.
Okay. Well, like I said, it's almost like us going into Chase Bank. So I don't know what terms they would want to give us. I'll tell you what, though, Max, it's like, I've never done, this is like called creative finance, right? Like this is the world that we live in, creative finance. And I've never done a deal before with a realtor without actually having all of us hop on the phone together, right? Because it's like, there's a bunch of storytelling and sometimes stuff gets lost in the weeds and it's just hard to get the message across. So if you want, we can all hop on the phone together and try to figure this thing out so that he has a better idea of what everything means. I mean, at the end of the day, you're still doing your job and getting everything you want accomplished. But I think it'd be better for us to just understand like what he wants for terms. That way I can go back and underwrite and structure stuff.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's going to be difficult. And, from my side as a realtor, we get the offers. We're not necessarily structuring it. We can discuss it, but we get the offers. It's an official offer. Then we sit down and present the official offer to our client, and we discuss the pros and the cons. So we're just kind of like on different sides. And so, I mean, I can go for something like that, but I don't think it's going to be very productive in this case because my clients are not that savvy. They're going to be very, very unsure. As they have expressed to me already. So without having an official offer, we could say this is an official offer, it's writing, here are the pros and cons and discussing that in detail. I really don't see them being able to go for it. And I really don't see the call being very productive. But if that's what you want to do, hey, certainly I can go ahead and say, hey, okay, this is what they're saying, boom, 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 they want to jump on a call. But
yeah, I mean, either that or just
going to be productive.
Either that or just getting a rough idea from them in their mind, like what would get them excited, like bare minimum payment every single month towards their 30%. That's all I need.
Yeah, no, I get it. But what I'm saying is I've talked to them, ongoing about this possibility. It's always been on the table, and they're the type where if you're just talking hypotheticals and you're pulling out numbers or whatever, it's going to be very hard for them to see exactly what you're saying. So if you're going in asking them, hey, specifically what term do you want? Specifically what do you want monthly? They're just going to be they're going to be at a freaking loss. They're like, hey, we're not so sure. Maybe we could talk some other time. And then we're right back to square one. Oh, those guys, they're not serious. How come we don't have an offer? It doesn't make any sense. That's how they're going to go about it. I know you do things differently, but in dealing with my clients, again, guy's older. He's the boss. He runs everything. He's old school. Anything that's not in writing is not going to be very official for him. And based on the discussion that I've had already with them regarding terms, like when I say, like they were like unsure about everything, and the only thing that he's saying is, hey, I don't think I have much longer. I'm not going to be around much longer. So when I'm talking about the terms, I'm already basing it on what I know. But again, I can go back and have that discussion with them. I just don't think it's going to be very productive, or even push for a call. And they might even say, hey, nah, let's not even do that. But I get it. You're used to working with sellers directly, and kind of having that talk and really figuring out what they want, but it's just not something that would really work for them. And like part of it, I don't want to throw age, and say it's an age thing, but part of it, the gentleman is older. So I do think that the age is a factor. But yeah, I mean, if you think that that's how you want to proceed, then I can go have that discussion with them and see if they want to get on a call. I'm just not certain that they're going to go for that. And if they do say, all right, fine, let's just jump on a call and see what he has to say, and you're looking to them to kind of like answer certain things, they're not going to be able to do that for you. And that's probably going to make them feel uncomfortable when you're asking them certain questions and they don't have a clue about it. They're like, no, we don't know about this, Max.
No, right. And that's like the way I talk to a homeowner is completely different than how I would talk to Max, the realtor, right? Like Max, the realtor, is a professional and he knows the real estate game. He understands all this stuff. So it's like, it's just different jargon. And that's why I'm saying in order to get him on the phone, it might be a little bit better because I could paint the picture a little bit differently than I would to Max. Because what I'm telling Max right now isn't the exact same thing as what I would tell the seller because it just wouldn't click because they aren't a realtor, right? Like all this real estate jargon and everything like that, it just wouldn't click with them. So I'd love to hop on the phone with them and see what happens from there. But definitely we can most likely do something around the 70% range down. I just got to see what the other terms are looking like in order to give you an exact offer.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I'll run that by them and see if they're open to getting on a call. If not, then we'll just keep it as an option in the background because I represent them and I just got to go with whatever they're saying.
Yeah,
so
you got to do what you got to do, brother.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Like, hey, we don't have anything in writing, then but I'll keep you posted. Like I said, I meet with them weekly, so I'll talk to them and then kind of figure it out, and then
When's the next time you're talking to them?
Oh, I meet with them every Friday, so I met with them. Today. So and they said maybe we can it depends because he has like hospital appointments and stuff like that. But generally Fridays tend to be pretty open. But if something comes up, and then we will reschedule for like Wednesday or Thursday. But I'll definitely be in touch with them next week. And given the situation, I might reach out to them maybe tomorrow to just kind of broach the subject with them over the phone and maybe see how that goes.
Okay, why don't we have a chat maybe later on tomorrow afternoon?
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. That sounds cool then.
All right, Max.
All right. Perfect.
By the way, you have any more deals around that area?
What kind of deals are you looking for?
I mean, we do all the deals, like all type of deals. Like I said, we do creative finance, but our bread and butter is fix and flips. So like we love just straight cash deals, but I'm looking at this property and obviously that doesn't make sense. This thing's almost immaculate.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, I end up working with some sellers that have off-market properties, but I also do a lot of bank-owned properties, and I do a lot of auction as well. And so, with the auction, what I'll do is just get something under agreement, and then I can, assign it to you, or if you. Someone within your team, for example, however you guys do things.
100%.
And then there would just be a fee for assigning it to you.
Hell yeah.
And those are usually, flips. So, I'll do some of that also. Like I just got one at the auction, a single family, 1,800 square feet, pretty good location. It's not too far from downtown at the Polo Park, but on the opposite side of where this property is that we were just talking about, kind of like the opposite side. We're on the west side with the 584 Pleasant Street. This property's on the east side, but the distance to downtown and the Polo Park is relatively the same. So that's going to be probably about $100K in renovations, and then we'll be able to just flip it. I have a partner that I'm working with on that.
Oh, so you're taking that one down yourself and putting the renovations into it. Got it.
Yeah. I'm just going to do that one myself. So usually, I'm investing primarily. Also, I don't necessarily work with a bunch of buyers or even like traditional sellers. I take on some clients, but for the most part, the clients that I work with are like investors, so they're not like regular clients. And so usually it's helping them to acquire a property that they can renovate, that they can flip.
Love it. Yeah, man.
yeah,
Whatever
so-
you got, send my way. We'll take them all down.
Right. Yeah,
All
I'll
around
definitely
Massachusetts,
keep you
actually,
posted.
and in Rhode Island.
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, I'm licensed in Rhode Island also. Yeah, so that reminds me, I had sent Felipe an off-market deal for I think about 2 acres in Marlborough with site plans approved by the city for like eight townhouses, like 2 attached, so 4, 2 attached, 8 total. So did you guys have a chance to take a look at that at all and talk about it, or are you doing developments? Or?
Yeah, he shot that information over to me. We're not really doing too many developments ourselves at the moment, so I shot it out to some people. Didn't get too much interest in it, but I can check it. I can check back in with them and see what we got going on.
Yeah. I mean, if you can, that'd be good. Just it's still something that we have, and we're shopping around. I know not everyone does developments, but yeah, if you come across someone who's interested, definitely make the connection. Meanwhile, I'll make a note and kind of keep you up to date with anything else that we have, especially rehab properties, and then kind of figure things out from there.
Love it. All right, Max. Appreciate you, bro. We'll talk tomorrow.
Likewise. Okay.
Have a good night.
Take care. You too.
Bye-bye.
You hear that? You trying to wholesale his deals to you?
Yeah, dog. We want
That's
all
cool.
the deals.
He said I'll
All
sign
right,
it.
good job, bro. Essentially, I just want to really see if we can get the terms. And tomorrow, worst case scenario, we'll just give him a call and just be like, all right, dude, I'm gonna send you some terms, and I'm gonna send them my terms.
I know, right? And they're gonna be like, "Oh, shit, we should have made up our terms."
Like, you want to go with our terms?
Shit.
All right. But all right, people, do you guys still have a lot to go over?
I got one more, but it can wait. It's not nothing pressing.
Okay.
Depending on your time.
All right, cool. Yeah, I gotta hop on a Zoom. But good stuff, bro. Karen, good stuff. Let's get that appointment locked up for Brockton. That sounds like a really good deal. Update on what happened to the property yesterday. I go there, and in my mind, I'm thinking like, okay, this guy said it just needs a new roof. This dude literally meant like a new whole half of the house. Like the first whole half of the house was just done. So,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, it was a really bad fire. Like it's essentially a tear down. But so it kind of killed our deal. But we are working with some other people on it to get it under contract at a much lower number than we were talking about over the phone. We just need it. It won't be a deal unless we get it at a lower number. So we're gonna try and make that happen.
Okay.
But good job, Karen. Good job, Felipe. Let's keep rocking and rolling. I will talk to you guys next week.
Yes, sir.
By the way, silverhomies.com, we literally had like probably 40 leads this week that we've been calling. There's some good leads too. So if you guys are watching, you guys have leads, silverhomies.com. Go there, submit your leads, and we will call them. You got 3 freaking killers on this live right now that are going to tackle those deals down. So also to any JV partners that are watching, we're switching CRMs. So we're going to come out with something where you can check in on the lead. Like you'll be able to see all the updated notes and everything, which would be really cool. I'm excited for that. But anyways, people, everybody have a good weekend. Peace.
Peace.
Bye. Peace.